research shows us that between 30 to 60% of female athletes may experience low energy availability, and that really can lead to a range of health issues, which includes menstrual dysfunction, decreased bone density, impaired performance, mood swings, anxiety, depression, a whole slew of things.
Tired of feeling exhausted after training? Confused about how to fuel your body without all the food rules? Welcome to Female Sports Nutrition, where I'll help you fuel strong, build muscle, and perform your best, all while breaking free from diet culture. I'm Kristen, a sports dietitian, trainer, and Jesus lover, and I'm here to help you fuel with freedom. Lace up your shoes, grab that smoothie, and let's jump in.
Hey friends, if you are enjoying my podcast, I have a small favor to ask of you. Would you take just a minute to write me a quick review on Apple Podcasts? It means the world to me. I love hearing from my listeners, and it also is going to help others discover me so that I can create more content to help you and other female athletes out there. So just take a minute to head on over to Apple Podcasts, scroll to the bottom, click write a review, drop me a 5-star review, and give me just a sentence or two about what you're enjoying about this podcast. Thank you so much for your support. Several years ago, while I was training for a figure competition and trying to cut weight, I struggled with low energy availability. I was barely dragging myself out of bed. I was angry all the time, or should I say hangry. I had no energy to do anything. I wasn't sleeping well, but I still was sleeping a lot despite not sleeping well. I wasn't getting a period, but I was on birth control, which is a topic for another time. Does this sound like you? This is all low energy availability. And unfortunately, the research shows us that between 30 to 60% of female athletes may experience low energy availability, and that really can lead to a range of health issues, which includes menstrual dysfunction, decreased bone density, impaired performance, mood swings, anxiety, depression, a whole slew of things. And I have lots of podcast episodes on this topic from Red S and Female Athlete Triad, which I will link below. But here's the crazy thing, is that low energy availability can actually affect different sports more so than others. So this would be certain sports like gymnastics, figure skating, dance, anything that emphasizes a lean physique. So at the time, for the story that I was telling you, I was training for a figure competition, which absolutely is going to be high place value on your physique. And I was trying to cut weight at that time. I felt great when I was trying to build muscle because I was eating a lot, but when I was trying to cut weight and I was trying to decrease my body fat, it really took a toll on me. So this can really impact your performance, essentially make your performance go down the drain. You feel like you are training so much, yet your performance is really suffering. And that's all related back to low energy availability. So low energy availability just basically means that you are putting out more energy through training and day-to-day activities than what you are taking in day-to-day. So let's say, for example, you are burning 3,000 calories a day, but yet you're only eating 1,500 calories a day or 1,800 calories a day. And while that might sound like a huge gap, I have seen it many, many times. So obviously there is a 1,500 calorie deficit there where you are burning 1,500 calories more than what your body is actually taking in. And that's what low energy availability is. So you can wind up having a whole slew of problems by not eating enough. And the difference really doesn't need to be that drastic. It could really just be a couple hundred calories a day less than what you are taking in that you can have all those issues. So there are 3 things that you can do right now to stop low energy availability if this is you. The number one thing, and this is for everybody, is to stop restricting. That also means don't fast. Don't do intermittent fasting. Now, if you're fasting for religious reasons, here and there, that's completely fine. But if you're doing intermittent fasting where you are fasting 16, 18 hours at a time and then only giving yourself a handful of hours to eat, you will never get in enough calories. So just don't do intermittent fasting. Plus, that can really mess with your hormones as a female, which is going to cause a whole slew of other problems. But if you are restricting your calories in attempt to try and lose weight, you need to stop right there. That is the number one thing that you need to do, even if you're not trying to lose weight. Whatever the reason is that you are restricting your calories, don't do it. So if you may be thinking, well, what in the world? How do I know how much I'm supposed to be eating a day? And the answer is it really depends. It depends on a lot of different factors, like how old you are and how tall you are, how much you weigh, how much muscle mass versus lean mass that you have, what your sport is, what your training schedule looks like, what your day-to-day activities look like. There's a lot of factors that go into figuring out how much you need to be eating per day. But what I can tell you is if you are an athlete and you're eating less than 2,000 calories a day, you're not eating enough. If you do want to know exactly how much you should be eating every single day, reach out to me and I will be happy to help you figure out that number. And I will drop a link below for you on how you can accomplish that. So, number one is stop restricting your calories. If you are an athlete and you are eating less than 2,000 calories a day, you are likely not eating enough. If you do not know how much you're eating, just simply write it down, keep a food diary for a day, and then go into either MyFitnessPal or you can go into Chronometer and you can log it for the day and see where you fall. Number two is stop restricting carbohydrates. We are currently in this phase of nutrition where it is trendy to cut out carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are on the SHIT list right now, and fats are cool, but for some people that's not actually the case. We're still restricting fats. So carbohydrates is your body's primary source of energy. You need to take in carbohydrates. Also, your brain can only run off of carbohydrates. Glucose in its simplest form is what your brain is going to run off of. So if you are not taking in enough carbohydrates over the day, guess what? You can't think straight. You're going to feel very foggy headed. Plus, you're not going to have the energy that your body needs to train and then also just do what you need to do. So back to my story, when I was barely dragging myself out of bed and I had no energy to do anything, there was a time where my husband asked me, oh, let's go walk down by the river walk. And I said, no way. I do not have the energy to go walk down by the river. If you want to go to Starbucks and sit there and talk, that's fine. And so that's what we did when we went to Starbucks. And I remember sitting there having my arms sitting on the arms of the chair, and he was talking, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't even know what in the world he's talking about right now, and I'm so tired that I can't even lift a finger. That's how tired I was. And then I kind of came to my senses and I realized this is stupid. I'm clearly not eating enough. And so the second half of that day, I went out and ate anything and everything that I wanted. I actually kept track of it after the fact, and I wound up eating 4,000 calories in a half of a day. I weighed myself the next morning and I hadn't even gained an ounce. That's how in the hole I was in calories and also in carbohydrates. So if you are doing the keto diet or Whole30 or carnivore or anything like that, you need to stop doing that because you are cutting back your carbohydrates too far and it is negatively impacting your health and your performance. Now, there's a ton of people that are doing the carnivore diet right now for gut health reasons. I'll be honest with you, there are lots of other ways to figure out what your problems are with your gut, and carnivore is not the best approach for that. So, especially if you're a female athlete, because you're going to be cutting out all those carbohydrates. So, don't do those things. Again, if that's something that you need help with, reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you with that. So, number 3 is stop restricting fats. It seems to me when I work with people that are struggling with under eating or disordered eating, they're either restricting carbohydrates or they're restricting fats or both, and then they're certainly restricting calories. So if you are restricting your fat intake, this is a problem area because fats are your body's secondary source of energy. Carbohydrates is first, fats are second. Protein's not going to give you much energy. It's only like 2% of your total energy needs for the day. So if you think by stocking up on a bunch of protein it's going to give you energy and help you perform better, it's not. So fats is more like a long-term energy source. So think of it like if you've ever had a piece of bread or an apple and you ate just that and you were starving 20 minutes later, that's because it's going to get burned off really, really, really quickly because it's a really quick source of energy. Whereas if you had maybe a greasy burger and fries and you were full for hours after that, it's because fats take longer to digest, and they also are going to be a longer term energy source for you. So we want to make sure that we are getting in fats throughout the day. And this would be just as simple as like having a little bit of cheese with your snack, or having some eggs at breakfast, and having a little bit of avocado on your toast, or a handful of nuts with your snacks, or cooking your chicken or pork or whatever in some olive oil. That's all you need. You just need a little bit sprinkled in over the course of the day. But when you restrict fats, you're restricting your calorie intake, which you need that energy. But then two, you're also going to be restricting your body's ability to absorb and retain fat-soluble vitamins. So think vitamins A, D, E, and K. Vitamin D is probably I don't want to say the most important, but probably one of the ones that most people are deficient in. And vitamin D is a hormone. And so that's the other thing, is when you restrict fats, you're also restricting your body's ability to create hormones and keep a balance of hormones within your body, which then translates to you not getting a period. That causes other issues like leaching calcium out of your bones, and then you wind up getting osteoporosis or osteopenia. Of course, that's later on down the road, but first off, you would notice that you're going to have more things like a stress fracture or any type of strain or tear. That's all signs that you are not taking in enough calories and fats because the hormones in your body are not able to do its job. So if you're listening to this and you realize, wow, I really am struggling with low energy availability, here's what you can do. Like I said, stop restricting your calories, stop restricting your carbohydrates, stop restricting your fats, and then find out how much of those things that you need to be taking in and where you compare to those things. And how you can do that is by reaching out to me. We can set up a consultation for you, and we can figure out exactly where you need to be and a plan to get you there. I will drop a link below for you so that you can schedule a free consultation with me, so that we can talk about what your goals are, where you currently stand, and then we can get you started. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you, encouraged you, or changed you, I would love for you to leave me a review and share it with a girlfriend who will find it helpful or inspiring. That is the best way you can thank me and help me share my knowledge so I can help more people just like you. I'm so thankful that you spent this time with me today, and I'd love to connect with you. Join my Facebook group, Female Sports Nutrition, or send me a DM on Instagram, or hop on over to my website, elitenutritionperformance.com. I'll see you back here next week.